In this video we're going to be looking at if you're wanting to start your own little circle. I'm Charlie Kelly and this is Masterclass. So I've tried to break this down into 5 easy steps for the do's in starting your own little circle to 5 don'ts that you really don't want to be doing in your circle. So let's get this up and running. Let's go to rule number 1. Firstly, you need to assign someone in charge. I don't mean someone's going to get the whip and they're going to crack people and they're going to hound people there, especially if they don't know what they're doing. But what you do need is someone that's going to maybe construct it. So if that is you and you're looking to start your own home circle, as it's known out there in the world, then maybe assign yourself as a kind of circle leader, or certainly someone that's in charge that can put boundaries in place. You definitely need boundaries, like time slots and how many people and what's expected while in that home circle. And that will certainly set you on your way for a good start to your home circle. Rule number 2. This is maybe gonna be more difficult to pull off, but my advice would be not to have it at home, so in your front room or in your family home. And there's no other reason than you can't get people out at the end. Everyone's had a good evening and everyone wants to come together and they want to talk about their experience, and before you know it, it's midnight, 1 o'clock in the morning, and you're still trying to kick people out. So it would make sense if you're fortunate enough to have a premises that you can go to, or maybe you've got a little room at the back of your house or a shed or something like that where you can start this home circle. That is what I advise that you do, just so you're able to maintain a discipline and a structure to your new home circle. My rule number 3 would always be to have a structure of some sort. Have an idea of what you want to practice on that evening. So if you want to practice sit-ins, or you want to practice a presentation, or you want to feel energy or go through an experience, have that idea, maybe even write that down. Have a few weeks in advance and have an idea of what you want to achieve or certainly aim for within that time that you're setting aside with you and your friends in your home circle. And this again will lead to a good productivity within that time that you're setting aside for that home circle. Rule number 4, this is going to be quite an important rule, certainly if you attend my circles, but I'm going to label this one dedication. And it requires people to be dedicated. You do not want to have a circle of 4, 5, 10, 15 1 week, and then the following week you've got 2, 3, and the rest couldn't really be bothered to turn up. So you want to make sure that when you're offering out your home circle, or certainly starting your circle, this is something that you want to instill immediately. That if you are having 4, 5, 6 people sign up, that week in, week out you have 4, 5 or 6 people there. And this is simply again for a state of discipline. You don't really need the people in your circle that are going to call you up an hour beforehand and say to you, do you know what, I've had a bit of a bad day at work, I'm not going to come tonight, or I've got a little bit of a headache, or Strictly's on tonight so I'm going to miss circle. They're the kind of people you don't really want to have in your home circle when you're trying to start and get this discipline in order. So it's going to require a dedication. If you lay this instruction out before you open the doors to your circle, you'll know exactly what you're signing up to, or your members of your circle will know what they're signing up to when they sign up to say, I will attend your circle. And remember what I said in number 3, having a structure. That structure can then play out. There's nothing worse than designing an evening that you want to present and work with in some way, and then half the circle don't turn up, meaning that the lesson plan can't go ahead. So make sure that the dedication is certainly there, and it would be better to have 4 dedicated people than 15 that may turn up or not. So concentrate on the 4 that are willing to dedicate that once a week or once a fortnight to you and your circle. And number 5 is always going to be last on the list on all of these videos that I do. remember to enjoy it. So as you get inspired by the spirit world to bring forward a lesson plan or an idea or a new experience that you can share with the spirit world, make sure you're adding no pressure. It's an experiment, and every single time it will be an experiment. Whether you're a beginner, whether you're working intermediately, or whether you're out there and you're advanced, still remember that factor that you have to enjoy it. It's one of those experiences that will never be repeated. They're always once in a lifetime. Every single time you connect to the spirit world, it's unique in every aspect. So remember to enjoy it. So in that first part, we've covered the first 5 maybe rules that you want to imply if you're going to start in your own home circle. So now let's take a look at the don't aspects of doing that circle. So if you've started your own home circle and this is something that you're looking to gain some knowledge from, rule number 1 in this instance is going to help out quite a lot. Don't ever pretend to know what you're doing or pretend that you've got all the answers and that you have all the philosophy. Over time, your students will learn very quickly that you didn't have a clue what you was talking about and that you were just making it up as you go along. Just be honest. You're on the same page maybe, or the same wavelength, or the same understanding as the group of people that have come together, and that's absolutely fine. So just remember, don't try and play the superstar or the superstar. Don't let the ego run wild. So never pretend that you know what you're doing. Just be honest, and amongst you, through discussion or going away and researching, the following week you may all come up with a better idea or a better understanding on the chosen subject. Another good rule to have is never compare yourself to any of the other circle members as well. Whether it be 4, 5, 6 or 8, 9, 10. It doesn't matter. You are on this unique journey, so please don't try and compare yourself to someone else. There are going to be weeks when you have an absolute flyer and you absolutely nail everything that you plan to do. And there'll be other weeks where you've just been in absolute chaos. You might have a nightmare at home, or the kids are playing you up, or work's not going well, or even your financial status. There will be something in the mind there that will ruin it for you in some way. And we've just got to accept that we are human and we're having this human experience, and sometimes it takes over and our mind goes crazy and we mess up at circle. So it's absolutely fine. Don't beat yourself up too much for it. You can just make up for it the next time that you're there. But never compare yourself to another person. Rule number 3. This is one that you need to kind of keep on top of all of the time. Never ever become complacent. Don't always do the same thing. Don't all turn up and all just do readings and always sit with the same person and always do the same exercise. Your dedicated followers or the dedication of the home circle will start to disperse and it will start to break down. So always think of new ways, think of new ideas, throw it to the floor, throw it to the people that are attending your circle on what they enjoyed, and let them speak up when they enjoyed this particular week. And maybe it was about healing, or maybe it was about meditation or communication. Always mix it up. Make sure it's exciting and they're learning something week in, week out. There's nothing worse than it becoming complacent and getting bored. And you never want to get bored with it, because it's magical every single time that you go to the spirit world. So let's do that through exercise. Let's do that through this structure or this lesson plan. Rule number 4, never try and do too much. It's always funny when I go to a new circle or people are asking me advice for running their own home circle. And I say to them, what do you want to do? And I say, right, in the first 30 minutes we want to do a bit of meditation, then we want to go to a bit of healing, and then we want to do some sit-ins, and then for the end of the evening we're going to do some platform demonstrating from the front. And that's like 5 weeks work all there, understanding the mechanic and what's going on there. So break it down. Never try and do too much. If you want to do a week on meditation and understand what you went through the meditation and maybe have a sharing moment within that, that's going to be your circle night over. Whether you've got it 2 to 3 hours long, which seems to be about the average, then that's going to be it for that week. And then next week you can maybe introduce a healing one, and then the week after that you can introduce some sit-ins, so the acts of mediumship. You may even be sitting for entrancement, and then maybe do a little bit of platform. But that's 5 weeks right there in the lesson plan. So don't try and squeeze too much in, because you'll rush it and you'll miss it, and your students or your people around you in the home circle won't be learning. You're just trying to absorb too much in too short a space of time. So break it down. You're in no rush, it's not a race, and that way you'll learn to enjoy each week as you go along. Don't be unstructured. And what I mean by that is have a structure in place. If you are running this home circle at home, I did advise that you don't do that, but I do understand that it's not possible in some scenarios. So if you're going to do it at home, make sure you've got a good structure. So circle starts at 7:30 and it ends at 9:30, and that is a structure that is in place. Now, by all means, open the front door at 6:30, come in, discuss your dinner, discuss what you had over the course of the day, discuss what you've done through work, discuss the children, discuss what you've read on social media. But at 7:30, class starts. Now, this is entirely up to you how you structure that, but make sure you have that structure in place. And then at 9:30, 10 o'clock, circle is over, get them out. Because I promise you at 10, 11, 12 o'clock at night, you'll still be discussing everything that's going on. So make sure you've got a structure in place, and make sure that discipline is in order. Now make sure that door is shut and locked at 7:30. If they are not there by that time, then they are not getting in that week. And I promise you the next week they will be early. And that way you create your discipline, you create the intent of what you want to do with that circle and how you want that circle to progress. And with that you will all grow if all your disciplines are in place. So thanks again. This has been another episode about the circle, or certainly starting a home circle if you're very new to it. I hope you've enjoyed it. I'd like you to engage with the comments. What have you found that's good for a circle? What's bad for a circle? Have you taken any of the ideas off of this video? Let me know in the comments. And until next time, I'll see you on Masterclass.